Mall Santas of Reddit. What is the scariest thing you've heard a child ask for? I had to fill in for our Santa when we were doing Santa photos. One kid sat down and said, "I want a bopped head." I said, "Ho ho ho. That doesn't sound like a very good present." Then the woman came over and whispered in my ear, "He wants to be adopted." They then explained to my wife, who was taking the photos, that the adoption had just gone through that day, but they were waiting to tell the kid until Christmas Day. This question is only going to be answered truthfully once. Obviously there is only one Santa. When I was 5 years old, 49 years ago, I asked a Santa in JCPenney's at the time for a real lawnmower. The kind that my dad uses. They had me hold a microphone up to my mouth. My answer, along with every other kid I presume, was broadcast throughout the whole store. I can still hear the laughter from the adults. I had a friend who was a mall Santa. Kid wanted his bully to die. Kid, can you get me a little brother or sister? Santa, sure. Which one of these broads is your mom? When I was 5 or 6, I asked Santa for a machine gun and a flamethrower. He asked me why I would want them, and apparently I said to shoot people. There was the time that Gaddafi kid asked for a bicycle and a violent populist uprising to displace the decadent ruling class of Libya. Mall Santas. Asterisk Santas. You do not use an apostrophe to make a word plural. Their dad. I was an elf this Christmas, and it was really sad how many kids wanted Rona to be over. I had one kid wish his grandma would die, though, so not entirely wholesome. I said I wanted to go to the Playboy Mansion when I was about 11. He replied with, "So would I, kid." I asked Santa for a new mom once. My mom was an abusive piece of shit when I was a kid. I had a teacher that worked a few years as a mall Santa, and he said a little girl, maybe a little boy, asked him to please let daddy come home from jail, and he said it was so sad and awkward. Not a Santa, but overheard when in the line. Basically, kid asked if we can tell Santa talk to his parents to not put him in the cellar when he is naughty. That he does not need any presents. About the time that the original Toy Story movie came out, my nephew sat on Santa's lap and loudly told the entire mall he wanted a Woody for Christmas. Hey Santa. Is it ever correct to use an apostrophe to indicate plural? I thought there would be at least one. I want the little kid who lives in the tree outside my window to stop crying at night, or something else horror movie inspired. Official Red Ryder. Carbine action. 200 shot. Range model air rifle. With a compass in the stock and this thing that tells time. I am not a mall Santa, but my grandpa has a really long beard, making him the local version of Santa. Last year we both were at a grocery store and a girl came to him. She said that she wanted my grandpa, aka Santa, to give her a tool to vanish her newborn little brother because her parents no longer give her attention she used to get. He asked her what tool she wanted and she answered, "I don't know. You are older than me, so you are supposed to know. But I really want the big gun they use in movies." Dude. We both were dying laughing all the way till our home. LMAO. Edit, we asked her mom her age. She was 8. Literally 8. My friend was a mall elf. There was this one Christmas letter a kid gave Santa. It said something like, "Please bring us a Wii so my parents will stop fighting and we can all be happy again." And on the back of it, all over, was written, "I will obey. I 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 will obey." I once heard about a kid who wished his father would stop hitting his wife for Christmas. Apparently the mall Santa got mad and beat the dad up. I wasn't Santa. I was a helper. The worst I heard was a child asking for their sister to be happy in heaven. Punched me in the gut. Not an answer to your question, but here is my story. I played Santa 12 years ago. 2008 was a tough year. I was in my late 30s with a very good red beard that took 45 minutes to paint white. Looked good in person, but the flash made it shine like a flashlight. Anyway. A 12-year-old or close to it kid came up to me and was all like, "You're not Santa," and just acting all cool that he knew all about how the whole Santa thing worked. He wasn't being rude, just acting tough and such. I teased him back and said I know someone who is getting a lump of coal for Christmas. To see that kid's face turn from smirky to utter horror at the thought that he was getting a lump of coal taught me that I needed to be careful at what I said. I have about 3 or 4 memories that I will never forget from that Christmas in the mall. That is one of them. The others are about how magical kids believe the Santa is. When I retire in 15-ish years, my plan is to play Santa in the mall every Christmas, then take an RV down to a Mexican beach for the rest of the winter. Merry Christmas, everyone. The year I went away to boarding school, my mom took my younger siblings to see Santa Claus. My brother asked something cute like, "I want my big sister home." And he asked innocently where I was, and my sister responded, "My parents got rid of her." My mom clarified the situation. But sure, that gave a good shock to the Santa at first. Once a smart kid told me that he knew I wasn't the real Santa, but that he knew how the system worked, and I would pass on the message to the real Santa. He then asked me for his parents back. I felt bad, but I didn't have anything for him. So I reached into my pockets and pulled out some Tic Tacs and gave them to him. Not me, but a friend who worked as a mall Santa. He had one little girl who was about 4 years old ask him for a big garbage can. The request was very odd in comparison to the others he had gotten for new toys, so he asked the little girl why she wanted the big garbage can. The little girl didn't hesitate for a second and told my friend that she needed the garbage can to put her father in because he was a mean man and slapped mommy. Wow. That was a real downer for him. I heard from a kid, "I want my dad to be happy this Christmas." 3 days later, I read on a local internet news page about a man who in my small town bought his kids a dog for Christmas Eve, and next day in front of them placed the dog in the box and beat it to death. In front of them. Because the dog was barking. It was this child's father. He got into jail for this and couple of other things. But this was chilling. Second-hand story. A little girl asked a mall Santa for her dad to stop molesting her, and the Santa and all the elves proceeded to beat the ever-loving shit out of the man. Not a Santa, but a spectator. Little girl revealed she wanted her dad to stop being abusive, whine into horrible detail. Security had to drag the Santa away from the withered, bruised dad. The dad pulled a knife, but Santa's ripped. This kid wanted a 12-gauge auto-loader. .45 long slide with laser sighting. Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range and the Uzi 9mm. Whenever I was really little, must have been 6 to 7. I had a fail-safe plan to prove Santa's non-existence. I had made a handcrafted picture holder out of popsicle sticks and gave it to the mall Santa, saying, "On Christmas Day I want you to give this holder back to me with a picture of one of your elves. If you don't give it back, I'll know you're not real." I can only imagine his thoughts. LOL. Clearly I didn't get it back. But I wanted to believe so hard I was rationalizing it like maybe he forgot or something. Dear Santa, help was one of the scariest I've ever seen. I was the manager/helper. Kid asked Santa to help Auburn win the Iron Bowl. Santa declined because he said his suit showed his football loyalties. The kid cried. The parents were upset. We had to fire Santa. Next year's Santa training included explicit instructions to remain neutral on Auburn vs Alabama. Not scary, but I guess to onlookers it was kinda grim cause they put their noses in the air and walked away. Last year I asked a mall Santa to hold my son's photo and his little heart earned for a photo. The Santa cried. The photographer elf cried. They gifted me the photos. Did you fuck my mum, Santa? Twitter moms be like, my 4-year-old just asked Santa to bring peace and love to humankind, and I think that's beautiful. I asked mall Santas for all kinds of sh\*t. I asked one of them for a chainsaw. I wanted to be the Doom guy. I once asked for a gun. I asked for a weird orb thing. I asked him for a grenade. I also asked him to see a murder scene. I thought they were cool at the time. I asked for a rapper, but misspelled it so it said raper. I also asked him for a demon. I've once asked him for his secrets on duplication. I asked him for a war. I think I asked him to kill someone too. It's been a while since then. When I was a kid I once asked Santa for peace on earth. He laughed at me. It broke my heart. I was serious though. I asked for a sweater when I was little. Once. I had to dress up like Santa for a week. Then a little kid said, "Can you cure my sister? She is 14 and has skin cancer. She's at the closest hospital." I totally didn't know what to answer. So his mother called him. Before he was gone, I said, "Hope she gets okay." He smiled then left. I was so embarrassed. But I was next to the hospital next morning. Looking by the windows. The boy was there. Crying from happiness that his sister got treatment and it's better now. I couldn't say a word. Smiled and left. Later. They're back in the mall. He came to me and said that he was thankful. I said, "Sometimes we can't do things other can do. Don't thank me. Thank the doctors who had enough courage to do the treatment." He didn't get the quote. He was like 5 years old. And ran away. I'm done for Christmas now. Thanks for watching.